Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. I hope you're all doing well. So in today's video I'm going to be showing you 3 different looks that you can do using one palette, and the palette that I chose for this video is the Too Faced Natural Love palette, which looks like this inside. So as you can see, there's a range of colours. You can do many looks with this. The reason why I actually chose this palette for the video was because I was looking through my makeup palettes the other day and I saw this one, and I remember getting this palette a while ago, and when I opened it up I looked at the eyeshadows and none of them had been used. It looked like none of them had even been touched. I remember swatching a few of the shimmers when I first picked it up, but I don't think I've ever actually used the palette, so I wanted to try it out for the first time. I was inspired to do this video by one of my favourite YouTubers. Her name is Bella Fiore, if that's how you say it. She's done a few of these 3 looks using one palette videos, and I really liked the idea, so I thought I'd try it out myself. So if you are interested to see the 3 looks that I create using this Too Faced palette, then please just keep on watching. So to start off the look, I went into the shade Honey Butter and I just applied this shade with a big fluffy brush, just all in my crease, bringing it slightly above my crease as well, just making sure it's all evenly blended. I then went into the shade Nudie, and just using a brush that has a little bit more shape to it, I kept the shade a lot lower down than I did with the other shade. So I just focused this colour mainly into the crease of my eye and building it up on the outer corner as well. I then went in with my big fluffy brush just to make sure there were no harsh lines and to make sure them 2 colours were blended out nicely together. I then went into the shade Makeup and Chill, and just keeping with that same brush, I applied this shade just mainly on the outer corner, making sure it was blended in with the other colours. Now this brown wasn't actually as pigmented as I'd hoped it would be, so I did have to keep building up the colour to get it to as dark as I wanted it. And then of course I went back in with my fluffy brush just to make sure that colour was blended out. I then went in to the black shade in the palette, I believe it was called Stiletto, and just using a tiny little pencil brush, I really focused this colour just on the outer corner of the eye. I didn't want to bring it up too high into my crease, just because I didn't want the black to overtake the whole look, as it was quite a pigmented black. And then of course I went back in with my blending brush to make sure that black was blended out. I then went into the shade Cutie Patootie, and I just applied the shade with my finger just on the front portion of my eyelid, and as you can see I didn't bring it across my whole eyelid because I didn't want to cover up the black that I'd just applied. And then for my lower lash line I went in with the shades that I used before, so I went in with the shade Honey Butter and Makeup and Chill, just focusing the darker colours on the outer corner. I then took the shade Poodle and I just applied this with my finger as my inner corner highlight, and I have to say it was a lot more pigmented than I was expecting. I then applied some mascara and lashes off camera, and then for lips I went in with Kylie Cosmetics liquid lipstick, and this was in the shade Dolce K. So to start off the second look, I went into the shade Lace Teddy, and just with that big fluffy brush I started applying this all into my crease again and bringing it slightly above my crease. However, it wasn't as pigmented as I thought it would be, so I then went into the shade Honey Butter and I applied this basically on top of Lace Teddy, just so that the colour showed up a little bit more. I then went into the shade Nudie, and just using that brush that has a little bit more shape to it, I kept the shade just on the outer corner of the eye. I did have to keep on building up the colour a little bit just to get it a little bit more darker, because it wasn't as dark or as pigmented as I was expecting it to be. I then took the shade Bunny Nose, which is the bright pink shimmer in the palette, and again, just using my finger, I applied this on the front portion of my eyelid. And this again wasn't as pigmented as I thought it would be. It was definitely more of a subtle hint of pink rather than a full intense pink. I then went into the shade Makeup and Chill again, and just keeping with that same brush, I applied this on the outer corner of my eye just to give the look a lot more definition and depth. I then went into the black shade in the palette, and because I wanted to give this look a little bit more oomph, you could say, I took a small shader brush and I just started smoking out a wing. This is a really nice trick if you didn't want to wear eyeliner but you still want that smoky cat eye effect. I then took the shade Nudie again and I just ran this colour across my lower lash line. I then applied the same mascara and lashes off camera, and then for lips I went in with the NYX Lingerie Liquid Lipstick, and this is in the shade French Maid. So to start off this look, I went into the shade Honey Butter, and just keeping with that same fluffy brush, I just focused the shade mainly into the crease of my eye. I then went into the shade Makeup and Chill, which was the dark brown shade in the palette, and as you can see I was just applying this shade on the outer corner and inner corner of my eye, making sure I connect the two in the crease as well, and this is what's going to give us the halo eye effect. I then took the black shade in the palette and just using a really small brush, as you can see I just applied this shade on the outer corner and inner corner of the eye just to really deepen up the look. I then went back in with that brown shade and just went over everything just to make sure that black was blended out with the other colours. I then took the shade Honey Pot, which is a really pretty gold shimmer in the palette, and as you can see just with my finger I applied this in the middle of my eyelid just where I left a little gap, and then I went back in with the brush just to make sure everything was blended out together. And then just to deepen up the look a little bit, I went back into the black shade in the palette and I just applied this on the outer corner and inner corner of my eye just to deepen up the colour. And then for my lower lash line I went into the shades Makeup and Chill and Honey Butter, and I just applied them on the outer and inner corner of my lower lash line. And I then went into that gold shimmery shade and applied that in the middle, the centre of my lower lash line. And then I went back in with that black just to really deepen up the lower lash line and just to really create that halo eye effect. I then applied the same mascara and lashes off camera, and then for lips I went in with another NYX Lingerie Liquid Lipstick, and this was in the shade Push Up.
So guys, that does bring us at the end of today's video. I really hope you guys enjoyed watching it. This was my first try on doing a video like this, so I hope it was okay for you all. If you did enjoy today's video and you wanted to see more of these types of videos, then please give it a massive thumbs up for me so that I know you did enjoy it, and make sure you hit that subscribe button down below to see more videos from me. Thank you all so much for watching, and hopefully I'll see you all in the next one. Bye guys!